Let's talk about your latest piece in The Athletic. How do you put this list of freak athletes together? When does it start? How do you compile it? What do you got for me here?
Yeah, it starts, it's almost a year-round project, but I really get very involved in it in the summer, in the spring to the summer, coming out of spring football. And it's a ton of phone calls and text messages and emails. And I really do try to connect with every college football program in the country. And when I say every, I mean, there's Division II schools, there's every FCS school.
So what's the number of schools you think you reach out to? What's the grand total? Over 300?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Rich, I have a subset of the freaks list today on a guy at Middlebury College in Virginia.
It's
in
like
Vermont. I'm sorry, in
It's
Vermont.
like Stump the Truck in our draft coverage. We're like trying to stump the freaks list here.
10 months from now, Daniel Jeremiah will know exactly everything about Thomas Perry, who's a guard there, who's like has a 396 major in like molecular biology and something else, and he's a 485-pound bench press guy, and he will be in the NFL.
And what's the name of this institution of higher learning?
Middlebury College in Vermont.
The Middlebury College?
Middlebury College, I guarantee you, if you knew a lot of good students in your high school,
yes,
that was the caliber of school that they were probably looking to if they didn't want to go to a huge school.
I got it. Okay, so who else is jumping out that we'll see mostly on Saturdays, do you think, on Big Noon or whatever you got?
Yeah, I mean, so... Look, your alma mater has a couple of guys high up on the freaks list. One of them is Kenneth Grant. He's 350 pounds and he runs a sub 5.0 40. He's rare. I mean, Michigan has had a bunch of freaks D linemen over the last 6 years.
Tackles too,
well,
really
edge
in the
guys
middle too, right?
But you go through. You start with Rashawn Gary. You got Aiden Hutchinson. You got Kwity Paye.
Yep.
Those were 3 high level draft guys. You had Mozzie Smith, who was a first-round pick of the Cowboys.
Man, the Cowboys are still waiting on him.
Yeah, but he's only been out, a year, right?
Right.
So you have Chris Jenkins last year, but this guy's the biggest one, and he's probably the freakiest one. I mean, he's almost 100 pounds bigger than some of those other guys.
Jeez.
And Justin Tress, who's their strength coach, he's a protege of Ben Herbert. He was telling me he thinks he's going to run in the 4.8s when he goes to the combine.
That would be insane.
And you can watch. I mean, it's stuff people are like, oh yeah, I remember that play. He ran down a Penn State running back in a game. It's not just stuff in the weight room. Then there's like Alex Orji, who's the front runner to be the quarterback for Michigan. I mean, the video we have of some of the freaky stuff that guy can do at 6'3" and almost 240 pounds is insane compared to other elite athletes there.
Yeah, I've heard some folks in Ann Arbor use the words Anthony and Richardson when they talk about him a little bit.
I don't know if he can throw it like that. But he's again, he's legit 6'3", 238. He's a 41-inch vertical jump inch guy, and he can do so much else.
Who else? So people don't accuse this being Michigan heavy here.
Yeah. So let's go to your arch rival. So J.J. Smith is a freshman receiver from South Florida, 5-star guy. He was a huge recruit. Everybody wanted him. He's arguably the most talented receiver that has come out of South Florida ever.
Is that the kid who flashed with the video in practice or something like that? They usually have multiple versions of that receiver in Ohio State.
I will say this, just from the people I trust around there. Uh-huh. He will be the best receiver Ohio State has ever had.
Come on now. We hear this every year, and they're by the way, they're right, when they're like, here's Olave. Here comes Garrett Wilson.
He's bigger than Marvin. He's already 10 pounds bigger. He is stronger than Marvin. He's got better top end speed. And that's not a knock on Marvin Harrison Jr.
By the way, the fact that could be any knock or anything perceived as a knock on him just shows you.
I'm reading your write-up on this kid right now. He benches 355?
And he just graduated high school. He was there for, he's been there for a few months. His strength is crazy. He's basically an 11-foot broad jump guy.
So he's 18 years old?
Yeah.
So he's this at 18 years old?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeremiah Smith.
Which means he's got 3 years until the NFL can call him.
2 and he's sitting out 1, right?
No, I don't know. Everybody raves about his work ethic and his maturity too there.
That's great.
So, yeah.
No, that's cool. No, I'm serious. It's honestly, it's great to see.
I don't think Marvin,
see it at the combine every year.
was ever able to beat Michigan. I feel very confident that Jeremiah Smith will be able to do that.
Who else do you have on the list you want to mention?
Yeah. So, I mean, there was a lot of guys, not just obviously in, Big Ten, but this is a year where you sit back. So I had the first time I've ever had a repeat number one guy, Nick Harbor. Nick Harbor is a 6'5", 242-pound receiver at South Carolina who ran 10-1 in the 100 meters and was qualifier for the NCAA championships this past spring.
Mm-hmm.
What's crazy about him is he is competing in those sprint track meets against guys who are 70 pounds lighter than him. Like, nobody's close to his size, right? You're talking about a guy who's way, way bigger than like Randy Moss and has that kind of speed. Now, he needs a lot more polish as a receiver. He started 5 games as a true freshman last year, but he's definitely one that, he's just rare. Number 2 is Prime's guy, Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter, like, the freaky thing about him, he has just got an insane level, like, of a gas tank where 80 plays in, he looks like he just got out there and warmed up. He's rare in that regard. You just don't see, like, we had him in the opener at TCU. It's 100 degrees out there. The plays he's making in the third quarter, his ability to close on the ball is rare.
Isn't that what Deion said at halftime? If the kid had caught it, the Heisman would already be at the crib in his halftime interview before he run off to the locker room.
Is he going to do that again this year? Play 120 plays a game?
I would think so. I mean, the challenge for him, because they were a 4-win team, is they need much more help in the trenches.
Well,
right?
It's sand in the pants. That's apparently what they were hitting. On the period. You're skeptical of it?
What do you mean?
You skeptical that they got enough sand in the pants?
I think they've gotten. I think from the talent they brought in, they will be better this year. I think they can win 7-8 games and be bowl eligible.
Okay.
The key thing though for everything, and you can say this with a lot of schools, but like they really need to protect Shedeur, because if Shedeur goes down, I think they're going to be reeling.
Well, but he also got, Deion knows. I mean, he doesn't need to be told. His son got his.
He did.
Absolute.
But it's hard, Rich. It's like that is the key
crap beaten out of
position to have cohesion. They had an offensive line that basically was patchwork.
Yeah.
And I do know they've upgraded the talent part of that. So we'll see how it comes together. I like some of the moves they've made. But people will be watching because it's must-see TV, whether they win or lose. You
got one more freak before I let you go? Because we have time later on this month to start previewing the season a little bit more with you. But you got...
Yeah, I keep an eye on Florida State. They had 2 D, remember, they had 2 high-level D linemen who went to the draft last year.
I think they both went to the Rams, didn't they?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Now, Darrell Jackson, 6'5", 330 pounds, runs almost 21 miles per hour. 11-inch hands. Like, this is the guy, 36-inch arms.
Yeah.
Like, when I was talking to their strength coach about him, I was like, wanted to text DJ. I was like, you got to carve out some time to see this, because this is a kid who's now on his 3rd school. He started out at Maryland, went to Miami, sat out last year. They had a great defense. They lost some really good players, but I think their D-line is going to be really, really good, and it starts in the middle. And again, I don't know if we talk enough about where Florida State was at the end of last year, and they were the school I felt like got snubbed by the CFP. I think they're a top 10 team. We'll see how they do on offense. Mike Norvell's always been good with that, but I just think they have some loaded, they got Marvin Jones Jr. is now over there as a defensive end. But Darrell Jackson's one of those wow guys I think people will be buzzing about.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.